Yankee here, and today I'm going to be giving my thoughts on Digimon Ghost Game episodes 18 and 19. So, episode 18 opens up with Petermon, the Peter Pan Digimon, kidnapping a kid and bringing him into his own little alternate world. We don't really learn what this place that he's keeping all the kids he's kidnapping is. We don't know if it's a part of the digital world. We don't know if it's the fields that the main characters use. Don't know, never addressed. He just has a little pocket dimension where he's storing children and child level or rookie level Digimon. And so that's how we kick off. We just see the villain of this episode right off the bat. He's not hidden away like in the Cherrymon episode. He's just, here he is. So, kid gets kidnapped, and our main characters don't know about it. Two Hawkmon that had befriended one of the kids that got kidnapped show up and ask Hiro for help. And the reason why, Hiro asks, why'd you come here? Well, Clockmon told us to come ask you. You can't say no. Perfect. And so they start trying to help. They see Petermon kidnapping a kid. They chase him down. They're unable to get into his little pocket dimension because there's a password where you have to have somebody on the outside and the inside, basically. Say it back and forth, that opens the gate. So they let Gammamon get kidnapped. They go into the little dimension, they save the kids. Cool. And all the child-level Digimon just sort of start evolving, and this makes Petermon very upset because oh boy. Petermon comes off as a creep. He really likes kids. And then earlier in the episode, there was a purple Elecmon, who basically he was playing soccer with some kid, and he's like, "Man, if I was just a little bit bigger, I could have stopped that ball." And Petermon freaks out and pulls out a sword and is threatening him. So Petermon's crazy. But everyone shows up. They're trying to help the kids. Everybody just starts digivolving. So the two Hawkmon that came asking Hiro for help, they evolve into two Orcamon. And there's 10 or so Digimon that just suddenly evolve. And Petermon's going crazy. And then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, Captain Hookmon just shows up. And the entire the episode up until this point had been fine. It wasn't a great episode or anything like that. A creepy guy kidnapping children. Okay, that's scary. But then the resolution is basically Hiro saying, "Hey, how did it go?" Petermon hates adults because they're no fun or whatever. I forget exactly. And Hiro's like, "You don't have to be all no fun when you're an adult. My dad isn't like that. I don't want to be like that." And then all of a sudden, Captain Hookmon bursts through a crack in the atmosphere or whatever of this little pocket dimension, shatters. Captain Hookmon on his ship rolls in, and he's just like, "Yeah, you can have fun as an adult. Come join me on my ship." And so Petermon gets on the ship, and they sword fight for a minute, and that's the end of the episode. I don't know what was going on in this episode. It was odd. Everything up until towards the end made sense. Petermon's just a creep. He kidnaps kids. He likes kids. Ugh. But then everything with Captain Hookmon, it felt like they wanted to do an episode about Petermon and Captain Hookmon. Stupid name. But they just sort of tried to force it into Ghost Game. Petermon, Captain Hookmon, Tinkermon, they're all characters based on Peter Pan. Cool. They could work in a different Digimon season. They could work in Adventure where they're just around, when the Adventure kids are rolling around and they find the place where Andromon's at, or Elecmon's place, where all the eggs are. They just stumble upon a part of the digital world that is Petermon, Tinkermon, and a bunch of young Digimon, and Captain Hookmon's there fighting. You can get a good episode out of that. I don't think it really fit for Ghost Game, so I think that was just a mistake. Episode 19 was better. This one has the people just disappearing, and we later find out that they're going into the past. What is Angormon called it? The witching hour, I think, which is like evening time, like as the sun's setting and the sky's orange, like that's the witching hour or whatever, and people just go missing. Um, well, our main characters start going missing. Ruri disappears. She's gone. And Gormon doesn't know where to find her. Hero disappears, and we learned that they're being sent to the past by Piximon, and we got like one of the worst translations I've seen. Piximon. Everybody knows him. He was an adventure. He was in Digimon World. He's an old Digimon. He's a little pink ball with wings and a spear. His Japanese name, I believe, is Piccolomon. Piccollomon. Piccolomon. The person translating the episode translated it as Picklemon. Picklemon. So multiple times throughout this episode, like they're having like a confrontation with Piximon, and they just keep calling him Picklemon in the subs. it was bad. But anyway, Piximon, what does he want? Why is he messing with them? He wants their Digivices. We don't know why he wants them, but he's trying to get them, and for some reason he thinks sending the characters to the past and them seeing the past, that'll make them want to give him the Digivice. I don't really know what his plan is. But also, in the past, and we don't, this isn't explained, it's good for the show, it's like creepy and stuff, but there's just shadows that look like Hero, but it's just all black, so no features or anything, and then they start to steal the real features of Hero or Ruri, and eventually we get, basically, Hero is now just all black. He's like just a silhouette. You can't see any of his features, you can't see who he is, and then the shadow has taken his form. That's cool, it's creepy, and everything in the past is really neat. Sort of Gamamon and Hero sort of shouting out for each other. The Digivice sort of activating when Hero and Ruri call out for their Digimon, and that brings them to the past. That's interesting, and I don't know if we'll mess with that more. Like what exactly is the Digivice entirely capable of? And they get saved pretty easily. Like, what is it? Kyoshiro and Goromon, Jellymon are like, oh no, there's Hero and a weird black shadow. And then Gamamon just goes up to the shadow and it's like, oh, Hero, there you are. And Hero gets all his features back, and the shadow just pops and explodes into, like, dust. Whatever. And then the same thing happens with Ruri later on. But then we get the fight with Piximon. And as usual, the fights in this show aren't great. Well, first off, we get Gamamon saying, hey, I'm going to fly and fight him. And then he digivolves into Betel Gamamon. That's the red one. That's not Kaos Gamamon, the blue one that can, like, glide. So he turns into Betel, and Jellymon's like, you can't fly like this. And he's like, I'm going to fly. And he just jumps really high. So Kaos Gamamon really gets... when the show started, like, Betel was clearly the favorite. He's the one that they're pushing the hardest. And it looked like Wezen was going to be the one that sort of got shafted and didn't get used much because he's a quadruped and he's got big cannons. It's like, they're not going to want to push that. They don't really like pushing quadruped Digimon. Wezen got, in the Petermon episode, he got some time to shine. He didn't really do too much, but he got an attack. And whereas in this, like, Kaos just didn't show up, and he got kind of thrown under the bus, where it's like, yeah, we don't need him. Betel Gamamon works just fine. And it's like, that sucks. You give the main character 3 evolutions, and you clearly have a favorite, and the other 2 just sort of get pushed to the side, with Kaos really getting it worse. They fight Piximon. He's way stronger than them. They do like a combo attack where Betel Gamamon throws a fireball, and then Tesla Jellymon electrocutes it, and then it explodes the bombs Piximon was throwing at them, and he gets hit. And so Piximon comes up with a brilliant plan. Alright, I'm going to go back in time and really mess you guys up before you even know what's going on. I'm going to start with you, Gamamon. Piximon disappears. Like a second later, he comes out beat up. and it's really funny. That's probably one of the funniest gags in this show so far, is Piximon going back in time to basically defeat Gamamon when he can, just coming back beaten and bruised. So he clearly had to run in with Gulus Gamamon at some point, but I thought that was really funny. And then he's like, alright, I'm going to go into the future and see what happens. And then he comes back and he's like, oh, Gamamon, you're so cool. So apparently Gamamon becomes some great Digimon in the future that Piximon basically stops caring about getting the Digivices and just wants to be friends with Gamamon. I don't know. Again, resolution a bit weak. Episode itself was pretty cool. Gamamon continues to be treated as a child, but I like how, like, they're taking steps to, like, have him grow, kind of. Basically, like, apparently this is a big deal in Japan. Like, the first errand, where they let their kids go off to, like, the store by themselves or whatever. So that's what happens in this episode. That's how this episode starts, is Hiro is sending Gamamon off to go and buy chocolates on his own. And then everything goes wrong. But I like sort of... They're treating Gamamon as a child, and, like, I'm hoping that he doesn't have to grow up and be, like, more adult by the end, but little steps like this I like, showing, like, how you would treat an actual child as they're growing. I like that. Another thing that I liked from these two episodes is that there's clear reasons why our main characters got involved. Like, in the Petermon episode, the two Hawkmon come to Hiro because Clockmon told them to go see him for help. Cool. With the Piximon episode here, we have Piximon seeking them out to get their Digivices. Great. The previous two episodes, where it's just Hiro goes to the woods, oh, there's a Digimon. The main characters go to this power plant, oh, a Digimon shows up. Like, it's just coincidence. Whereas in this, it's like, okay, we have a clear reason why we're involved, and I think it works better that way. Like, I don't mind having just a coincidental run-in with a Digimon here and there, but when you get two episodes back-to-back, it sort of feels off. So I like that. I like how we have clear reasons for getting involved. That makes sense. Both episodes were sort of okay. I think the Piximon episode was better than the Petermon episode, mainly because the resolution of the Petermon episode was just bizarre and out of nowhere, whereas the Piximon one, again, wasn't resolved perfectly. But at least, like, they put up a fight, they did some damage to him, he went back in time, got stomped by Gulus Gamamon, and then just sort of gave up. So yeah, these two episodes were pretty good, better than the last two. Yeah, pretty good episodes. I'm still enjoying the show a lot, and I don't really know what to expect moving forward. Probably just more of the same. But I'm hoping that at some point they can start resolving these episodes better, because that's really where this show is failing the hardest. Like, some of the horror stuff is done really well, and it's creepy, like the Clockmon episode, or even the Frozomon episode, which I don't really think is horror, but it's scary, sort of freezing to death. And then the Piximon episode, where they're just sort of lost in the past with these weird shadows following them. That stuff's done well, and it's scary, but the resolutions just sort of, like, the episodes just sort of sputter out, right? Where it's just build up, and then everything deflates at the end. So if they get that fixed, I think the show will be great. I still do like it a lot, and I'm looking forward to continuing going forward. So anyway, that's going to do it for this video. I'll see you guys next time.